Hello, and welcome to day 2 of our virtual journey between Turku and Trondheim. And today we've reached the archipelago town of Pargas, about 35 kilometers from Turku, and 4 bridges. And you're also joining us on the equinox, so the time of equal day and equal night time, the start of the autumn, and the start of coziness when we get the nights drawing in. If you're new and watching on a new channel tonight, we're broadcasting on a few different channels, so please remember to check out yesterday from Turku Cathedral. And we had lots of questions and comments, so thank you very much for that. Yesterday we weren't able to answer the comments online, but tonight we can do it live because we have the computer in front of us. So thank you for that. Also, if you have any special requests, or we got some very nice tips yesterday what people would like to see from Turku. So in October we're going to visit Turku again and show you some secret behind the scenes places. So if you get some ideas, for example, from here in Pargas, then please you can give us a comment down below, and we'll try and fix that for October. One of the questions that we got yesterday, which was actually a very good one, was about the signposting. How well is the path signposted? And I would say that it's pretty well signposted. If you were watching yesterday, you saw us at the stone outside the cathedral, and there you have the Olav's symbol. And this is the way that we mark the path. You can maybe see it here. And you just have to follow these. I think this is a little bit like going for mushrooms in the autumn time. First you don't see any mushrooms, and then suddenly you see one beautiful yellow chanterelle mushroom, and then you look behind and the whole forest is full of chanterelles, and it's a bit like these signs. So we try to sign the path as well enough that you don't actually need any map with you, although we always recommend to take a map. And especially if you're traveling from abroad, sometimes especially the city areas can be perhaps a bit confusing, but we have good also directions on our online maps, so with them you can follow pretty well. They always tell you good hints of typical places maybe people can take the wrong turning. There's also links to all the accommodation from the digital maps, all the ferry timetables. You can download them, you can get the GPS track into your telephone or GPS, and a lot of good tips and information. So it's a good thing to do, to check out the maps beforehand. But maybe you're tired. You've already walked 35 kilometers from the cathedral. You'll have left the beautiful cathedral, stamped your pilgrim's passport inside. If you've left very early in the morning, there's also some stamps chained outside the cathedral, so you can leave anytime, day or night. You'll pass the Dominican monastery that used to be a St. Olav's monastery, and very quickly, within 1 hour, you'll end up in the forest. So it's actually a very quick departure from the city. And from then, you're traveling through very beautiful countryside, through wetland areas, over duck boards. In the springtime, there's beautiful sounds of warblers, rose finches. You have a very steep climb up some ladders, but at the top there's a fireplace, so a great place to cook coffee, and a lookout tower. So you can see Turku Castle, the cathedral, and you can even see the chimneys of the cement factory here in Pargas. So it's a nice place to take a rest. And after that, you go through also very old cultural areas. There's been big battles there in the past, and then you end up in Kaarina. And I think, especially if you're coming from abroad, it's very interesting. You walk through where people live, so it's not the tourist sites, but it's real life. And one of the best parts of Kaarina is the ice cream kiosk beside the beach. So if you've got good weather, you can have a nice refreshing swim. And then you have the bridges and the Archipelago road, which can be quite busy, but there's a cycle path which takes you away from the road, and as I said, really nice views from the bridges. And if you're feeling tired, it's very easy. You can take the bus. There's a local bus twice an hour, and most people do it in 1 day, but it's very possible also to do it in 2 and stay in Kaarina. But then you come to Pargas, also known as Parainen in Finnish, but Now we're in the Swedish-speaking majority area, so we changed the language from Finnish to Swedish, and maybe you'll be staying here, or at least eating here in Matmalmen. It's a bed and breakfast and also a restaurant, one of the best in Pargas. And here we have some delicious foods and also some guests around the table. So let's meet them. So Eva, you are the owner of Matmalmen. Would you like to tell us a little bit about where we are?
Yes, you are in the middle of the city center, so to say, but also close to the sea and close to the open quarry which we have here. You talked about the cement factory pipes.
Yeah.
And the quarry is connected to those pipes. And also very close to the bus stop in case you don't walk the whole trip from Turku to Pargas. So yes, in the city center, but still close to nature and close to the sea. And what we offer here is of course food of as local produce as possible, and we really make a difference and an effort for it. For instance, with you, we have a good team going on, and you will tell more about it, I suppose.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And also good fishermen we use. So yes, today we got. Which way do you say it? Pike perch or perch pike?
Pike perch.
Pike perch. It's always as difficult to remember. So today we got fresh pike perch, which we will have on the table tomorrow. And this with the food is happening downstairs where we are sitting now. And then upstairs we have only a few rooms because it's also my own home at the same time. So those who stay with me stay really with me.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's all local food,
Yep.
made with an international twist.
Yes, because I have formerly been working with as a travel agent, traveling a lot, so I love food from all over the world, of course. But only the tastes, the produce has to be from Parainen or as close as possible.
Mm.
At least Finnish.
Yeah. And isn't it also so that you don't have any waste? It's zero waste.
We are zero
kitchen.
waste. Yes. And that we manage by, of course, we have a good composting system called bokashi, and then we separate garbage, and we have something called a fiver's plate or a lunner, which means what is left from the lunch we have as a small plate, the fiver plate, and a bigger plate, but in the evening the lunner, lunch dinner combination. So that way we don't have any waste.
Mm. And it's perfect for pilgrims because it's
Yes.
filling, but it's a bit cheaper.
It's a
and
bit
it's also
cheaper.
food that would otherwise, it's still good and tasty and delicious, but it's
Absolutely.
just
Yes.
the
I usually eat lunner, so you can see it's not a problem keeping the form.
And then we have Nalle sitting beside you. So he is both a gardener, a priest, and also the chairperson of the St. Olav Association in Finland.
Yes, it was last year that it was opened, and I had the opportunity to be in the cathedral when we also had this stone opened. And yes, I'm now having a garden with local products. So one of the great interests is what kind of herbs Saint Olav had.
Mm-hmm.
So I have some old examples. I think it's watercress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
watercress is one of those that are near Saint Olav's wells, and that's I think a new product here in Finland. Not many eat watercress.
No, really not.
Yes. So in that way, we are close to the route also. So I have a dream of having some accommodation for pilgrims in the future, but not now.
So maybe if there's a pilgrim who's especially interested in gardening, they can contact you and
Yes.
perhaps visit your garden, because it's
Yes.
beautiful. I don't know how many plants and vegetables you have, but it's hundreds, thousands.
Must
Hundreds,
be
yes,
more.
hundreds, yes, about 340.
Oh.
But now we are planning also for these ecological things, the toilets and soil. We have been having some soil here from Matmalmen, but we have a new thing going on, that all the food that is over from this daycare would come to us, and we would make bokashi soil from it, and it's quite interesting.
So it's also recycling.
Recycling,
Yeah.
yes, that's the thing.
I should maybe also mention now, because we have the official Facebook page, but we also have a Facebook group, and this part between Turku and Pargas is there's a lot of accommodation. You can find the different standards and prices, but there's some parts, for example, the first part in Nagu, there's not that many alternatives. So we have a Facebook group, and there you can ask, for example, if you have a special accommodation need, or for example you're interested in gardening and you've heard that there's maybe a garden here. So people offer advice and ask questions. So it's very good. You can find the link from our Facebook page. And for example, a year ago there was a mother and daughter. The mother was 80 plus, and she only wanted to walk 10 to 15 kilometers, and some places it was a bit too far, but through the group she got accommodation the whole way between Turku and Eckerö, which is the last place in the Åland Islands. So it's good to join that group. And there's also some people who want to walk with other people, so we have also a tag there called Hiking Buddies. So for example, if you're planning to come next summer, 21, you can right there, you're looking for someone to walk with, and then if there's anyone else also looking to partner up with someone for at least some part of the walk, then you can maybe find each other there. Nalle, maybe could you tell us about the church, because the churches are always important. We have the Olav stone in front of the cathedral, but most pilgrims come to Pargas Church at least to get the stamp for their pass.
Yes. Pilgrimage is about walking from church to church, usually, at least in the old times it was, and this Pargas church is an old medieval church, and you can say that Saint Olav started the whole thing when he christened Norway, and it was a way of getting people to pay tax, but also a way to know people and to give them possibilities to feel as a country, not only as a family. So he built churches. There's about 20 to 30 kilometers always between the churches. And here in the Archipelago there are, yes, here in Pargas, and then it comes to Nagu, and then Korpu. Just suitable distances to go. So yes. And of course, that's why Olav is the patron of the Nordic countries, the saint for the whole Northern. And yes, he is also the one that was a saint in the undivided church. So there was no Catholic and Orthodox church when he became a saint. So he is very suitable, I think, as an example for us. Though he was a Viking and a pagan before he became a Christian.
So he's bringing us together, so the Nordic countries, and also then Russia, and hopefully in the future physically to Novgorod.
Yes, and many of the ideas that he brought with him came from Europe, from France, England, and he was even in Portugal, I learned last year, on a crusade. I don't know about the Portuguese, but he had been there too. And of course Novgorod was very important for him. There were churches also built for him there.
And isn't it so that there used to be a very important wooden statue of Olav in the Pargas church? Now it's been taken to Helsinki,
Yes.
to the museum, but perhaps it's coming back.
Yes, I
to
just
Pargas.
learned and heard that they are going to restore this statue. It was not in such a good shape, so they need to restore it. And then we will have him back here.
Also, thank you for your comments. We've got a few comments here. So super to hear that you're zero waste. That's great. And Lorna asks about the ferry timetables. Unfortunately, they're all in Swedish and Finnish, so you have to use Google Translate to translate them. All our links to them, and we try to explain the timetables, but the actual operators, they only have them in Swedish and Finnish, unfortunately. I hope in the future they'll also have them in English, or at least an explanation. The ferries to Åland, they have English explanations. But the ferries are actually quite easy to use, especially along the main route. And we'll be talking more about the ferries tomorrow. Lorna also says she loves watercress, so I think you have a new customer.
That would be nice. Yes.
But we have another food person here, Margot, beside me, and you work with food and promoting local food. And what does Archipelago food mean to you?
That's all the good tastes. It begins with good potato. In the Archipelago, we grow more than 70% of all Finnish fresh potato in the spring. So it's a lot. So potato means a lot for many families in the Archipelago, and many young people work. Their first work could be on the potato field or on the potato machine, but yeah, 70% is very much. So potato, of course, and because Finland is very high up north, we have the midnight sun, we have something that I call the Arctic light, which makes everything that grows here very, very aromatic and tasty. So that's why Finnish and Nordic potatoes taste so good. You can eat them every day and every meal. So potatoes, of course. And together with the potatoes, fish. As we have the sea all around here, of course we eat a lot of fish. And we have the chance to eat fresh fish, as Eva told. She got fresh fish to the restaurant, and every home got their fresh fish. Not every, let's say many do their fishing themselves, as I do. When I want some fish, I put my nets in the sea, and then next morning I will have some fish, very fresh. We don't eat old fish. We fry them, and very special for the archipelago is smoked fish. Smoked fish you can get almost everywhere, and I think even you have some smoker on the backyard.
Yes.
You have,
yes.
And most people have their own fish smoker on the backyard. Do you have?
No.
You don't. Do you have?
I do.
Yes, and I have.
But you should
You should have.
beetroot.
Yes. I have some.
Let's buy him
to
one.
learn.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so smoked fish and potato. And also we have the Baltic herring, which we eat a lot. And we can salt it to make it last for a long time. And then the salted herrings we can pickle until to very many delicious products.
And they were important in the old times as income for families.
Yes, we have
Sold in the
the
markets.
big fish market in Turku and Helsinki every autumn, and that meant a lot for the people on the islands. And then we have the traditional archipelago bread. You can find it all over. I just have to show a piece of it. Very dark bread with barley and malt and so on.
Yeah.
Syrup, and we eat it with butter.
Yeah. Carry
So
on.
that's the ground into our meal.
So here we have perch.
Jo, abborre.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the Baltic herring.
Yes, which we call böckling. The smoked Baltic herring is called böckling.
And the smoked Baltic herring, it's not gutted. It has the insides inside.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But the perch, it's been cleaned.
It's been cleaned, yes.
So how do you eat böckling? The whole thing?
No, I don't, because they are quite big, but when I fry the fishes, I eat the whole thing. Yeah. But these are quite big, I wouldn't. I open it. I take the, vad heter skal?
The skin?
Yeah, I take the skin off and then I start to eat.
We've got the question, what is the most popular fish? Good question.
Maybe the perch.
Yeah, it depends a little bit on the season, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, and where you do the fishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say actually perhaps 4. We have the perch, we have the pike perch, and whitefish.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
The pike perch,
Okej,
Ja.
med gäddan då?
pike.
Aha.
Pike we
Yeah.
could have more of.
But what
It's
we
also very good.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
But it's often considered not to be a good fish,
Yes.
like a rubbish fish,
Yes.
but it's delicious. Very good in fish balls.
Oh yes.
But what we eat actually most is the forel.
Rainbow trouts. Yeah.
Yes, rainbow trout.
Yeah, because you can get them every time.
What about your favorite fish?
My favorite fish. Oh, the
If you could only-
silk. What is
Whitefish.
Whitefish, yes. Whitefish.
It's very good. Yeah.
Yes, it's.
For me, it's absolutely perch.
And mine is flundra.
A flounder. Or what is it?
Yeah. Flatfish.
Yeah, flatfish.
So-
Brown on one side and white on the other side. Smoked. Oh.
I like the Baltic herring burgers that you fry in butter. It's very good. But also, I think the best is if you fish, catch fresh perch, small one, and then you just gut it and put stick in it and cook it like a sausage
yes,
on
grill
the
it.
fire.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's a good thing for pilgrimage to do. And then it's delicious, very tasty, and that's fresh. And maybe this is often if you go on a pilgrimage, or when I've done it in France and Italy. So, of course, I like to experience the landscape through the food, through the wines, and then the food. But this is fish, maybe one, and the potatoes, of course, one way of doing it here as well. And then the archipelago bread. You have another thing here, and it's about pies, and it's also connected with the landscape. Do you want to talk a little bit more?
We have many animals eating and keeping the landscape open, and we have the national park area here, and many farmers transport their animals to the islands just to keep them open, and most sheep and also
Beef or
yeah,
cattle.
beef,
Cattle,
cattle also that